Before we get started, this week's podcast is sponsored by the Elite Earner Signature Program from Earn Your Booze. Hey, we have an awesome sponsor for you guys today. We're excited to relaunch the Earn Your Booze training program. This program is so special to us because we have spent the last 3 years, especially, optimizing our method to create a training program for our listeners who actually want to earn the Earn It All and Earn Your Booze lifestyle. With the Earn It All method, you'll learn how to earn your booze, hitting your health and fitness goals. And when you sign up, you're going to get a fitness and nutrition program that is just for you and your goals, nutrition strategies that match your lifestyle, even if you like to smoke or drink, macros that you can track on our brand new Earn Your Booze app, weekly check-ins and coaching calls on a live call every Tuesday night, and support from coaches who get your drive for a bigger, better life. So men and women alike, join us and start your journey and become an elite earner today. You can, of course, visit us at earnitall.com or shoot us a message wherever you're listening to this. So, Adam, today we're talking about Earn Your Booze. It's a program that we brought back, but it's not just a program. This is really, this is a lifestyle that most people live. Most people, statistically speaking, are out there trying to work hard and play hard one way or another. And for a lot of people, that means they want to crack a cold beer or have a drink or do something that does help them check out of their so-called regular life, you know. And a lot of times people in the sober world push back against that and they say like, oh, you don't need to check out, just build a life you don't want a vacation from. And I absolutely understand that. And I do help and want to build my own life that I never want a vacation from. But the reality is some people just find a lot of joy in saying, okay, cool, my work week is done. I busted my ass and I just want to have some drinks or I want to go and kind of check out before I have to go back to the office. And so when it comes to drinking, like that's one of the biggest things that it's like, look, drinking is not healthy for the body. Like the body should not have alcohol or poisons and shouldn't have a lot of things in it that we put in it, even from the food we get, let's be real. But there really is a way to earn your booze, and it's what we teach. And this is not even a pitch for the program. It's just reassuring that, like, me now at 40, I'll be 41 in a couple weeks. You know, I was a sailor. I was in the Navy. What do they say about sailors? They cuss and drink. Right?
A couple other things.
A couple other things, I'm sure. But then even when I got out of the Navy, I worked in aerospace, which was all veterans for the most part. We were a very heavy drinking culture. And then I got into brewing beer and opening a brewery and all this stuff, and then launched Earn Your Booze. Alcohol has been a huge influence on my life. And I finally found a way to like be in great shape at 41 years old almost, and having abs, having all the confidence, having the strength, having the energy to run around with my 6-year-old and all that. And this stuff doesn't throw me off. You know, a lot of people say that if you're going to have a drink, it's going to ruin your gains in the gym. It's going to ruin your business. It's going to ruin your life and all that. And it certainly can if you don't take control of it. If you let it control you, you can absolutely do that. So, you know, we take a scientific approach, but we take a realistic approach too when it comes to earning your booze, because like it's not just science. This is not just working out and trying to burn the macros that you're going to consume from the beers you're going to have later. This is really elevating every area of your life. So when you decide to have some of this, like I have a tequila, my favorite tequila in front of me, when you have that, it's just adding to an already awesome life. You're not cracking this bottle to create an awesome experience. You're cracking that bottle to add on a little bit extra fun to an already cool life. So that's what we love to teach. I say teach, but this is how we like to live. This is what Earn Your Booze means to us. And I just wish more people would understand that it is possible, because you and I both have a lot of friends in the industry, the drink industry, the bartenders or people that do distilling or they're liquor reps and stuff like that. Like those people have to live in this world. They have to be consuming this product to a certain level. They have a lot of parties to plan. They're selling it. And if everyone they turn to get in shape is telling them they're a piece of shit because of how they live, like they're never even going to get their foot in the door. So I really take a lot of honor and pride in like helping people that I understand your lifestyle. If you're in beer, if you're in wine, if you're in spirits, if you're a party planner, if you're just a weekend warrior, you can absolutely enjoy all the finer things in life. But especially when you take the rest of your life seriously, you realize how much better it tastes. When you've truly earned it and you're not just trying to mask over an issue when it's literally just pouring again onto a great life, it tastes and feels so much better. And then you get right back on it and you keep elevating your business and your family and personal, goals and health and everything.
Yeah. Two things on that statement.
I know that was a good rant.
No, that was a great rant.
Oh, it was
two
a long
things
rant.
on that.
I love it was good.
No, it was great. Two things on that. And this is going to be slightly controversial, but it's fine because I'm demonetized anyways. Your tap water in your house is worse for you than this bottle of tequila right here. This bottle of tequila is better for you than your tap water in your house for various reasons. If you just look at a cutaway of a city water pipe and you see that there's gunk and rust and hundreds of years, because none of this infrastructure has been looked at or worried about or anything, and then all this shit they're dumping in the water. I mean, if you test your tap water, it has antidepressants in it. It has fucking hormones in it, literal hormones in it. It has massive amounts of fluoride, chlorine, literal poison, right? So if we just look at it, and I wanted to bring that up because anybody that's saying, oh, well, I know it's poison. Of course it is. Of course it is. So is your tap water. So is too much sun. If you drink too much water, you'll die, right? So I think that argument is just null and void. I think it just comes from people who feel as though booze is a boogeyman, right? And it's people like that who they can't control themselves, so they want to put that onto other people, right? And the personal development space especially, it's a very toxic industry, I think, just seeing it from, being in it for the short amount of time that I have been. It's a very toxic space because if you're not doing this thing that I do to get to where I am right here, which is usually not what they're actually doing, you're a piece of shit. And there's only 18,000 people in the personal development space or whatever it is, right? There's 18,000 people that jump from this program to this program to this guy to this guy over here. And then it's just this big circle jerk of these people that are, what do you call it? When you're just jumping from program to program.
I call them success zombies.
Success zombie, right? And they get stuck in this little space like that where it's this is the devil and the only way to beat it is to, dump it down the drain and all this stuff. That's 18,000 people. There's 8 billion people on Earth, and most of us would like to have a drink on Friday and not feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah. I want to let's cover more of the science approach to it because you mentioned tap water. So Here's how I look at I'll just use my body for example as a cup. I got this whatever this is, this 20-pound freaking cup here, right? If you think about our bodies, we are, like you said, we're absorbing things from all over the place, from the air, from the water even in the showers, everything, our body's absorbing stuff. And almost everything is full of some sort of toxin or poison. So the tap water is bad, which is why at my house we have an RO system that has a mineral, kind of a back feeder and all that. And we use that even to fill our pots if we're going to make pasta. We don't use the tap water for anything. But tap water, packaged food, processed foods, the air we breathe, I live in downtown Phoenix, and even though it's a clear day, if you were to zoom out and come up onto a mountain, there's a brown cloud over the city. We are surrounded by things that are just one way or another getting into our bodies. Mm. So when it comes to alcohol, my kind of science approach to it is I want to eat as clean as possible, all my food. I want to drink as clean as possible, and I'm talking water, and if I have juice, I don't like anything that's processed or overly sugary. We filter the water that's in our house. We filter the water that's in our pools to a certain level. And I try to be as healthy as possible because I know if I put some of this in it, that's adding to my bucket of toxins.
Sure.
Now, on the other side, if people are not thinking like that and they are just drinking tap water, they're eating all the processed packaged food, they're eating fast food, they're consuming a ton of sugar. I'm sure you're probably going to sugar all day long. They're not getting sunlight on their skin. They're not sleeping good. They're not exercising. They're not doing all these things which lower toxicity levels in our body. And they drink. Now we are really just saturating. Now the cup is full. The cup is full from all those things I just said, from not exercising, not hydrating properly, eating crappy food, not sleeping well, not getting sun. And now we're drinking and smoking weed and all this and having the munchies. And now the cup is just overflowing with crap. Now we're getting unhealthy. So I like to go the opposite route and really just get myself as healthy as possible. So when I do have some tequila, or if I do decide to eat some donuts, or if I grab some fast food, which is extremely rare, like the body's just like, whatever. I got a little bump up in my BS that's in the body, and it's going to process it.
I think,
is that a way to look at this?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people use alcohol as an easy scapegoat to not take personal responsibility for other areas of their life. Like, well, I got rid of the alcohol, so I'm good. I'm a good person now, right?
What are the other things you're doing?
And what are the other things you're doing, right? And if you're just looking at it from a health aspect, just health alone, right? If you're doing all the things you're doing, you're making sure you're using filtered water, you're getting the sunlight on your skin, you're sleeping well, you're managing your stress, like you're doing all these things to optimize the way that your body operates and the way that you're, all the way down to your mitochondria, the way that they process energy, and all the way down to how your organs process things when they come in. Like having a serving or two of a fucking super high quality spirit that doesn't actually, tequila doesn't actually get processed the same way as other alcohols does. The agavins actually slow things down, and it's a lot different for your liver to process, and it actually helps normalize your blood sugar and stuff like that. So, high quality tequila is honestly some of the best stuff you could drink. But aside from that, your body knows what to do with that little bit of toxin you're giving it. So it's not really overflowing your cup now, right? So you've kind of poked some holes in your cup because you're managing all this other stuff. And usually what happens when somebody works with us one-on-one, and you know this, but I'll just tell it so everybody understands. Usually when somebody comes and works with us one-on-one, we actually advocate that they don't drink for a while. I'll actually help them to get off the alcohol for a while in a healthful way. And it depends on, if they're a heavy alcoholic or something like that, there's definitely, ways to manage that. You should not go cold turkey if you've been drinking alcohol for 20 years, right? It's definitely not something you should do like that. It's something that you have to manage in a very smart way, and you should do it with somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. But the point is that when somebody comes in and works with us one-on-one, we look at the whole picture where it's like, okay, this is not an addition to your life, so we're not going to have you do it. We're only going to do things that are going to be additions to your life. We're going to do additions to your health. We're going to do additions to your mindset. We're going to make additions to, the fabric of the leadership of your family. Like, we are not a fitness program at all. I mean, at the core of it, we are a personal development, personal responsibility brand. Like, it is true moderation, right? And it's true, like the earn word. We hear this from everybody. The earn word is like, they're like, fuck, that makes so much sense. And especially in this day and age where everything is so easy and everything is given to you, and there's not wolves coming to our fucking house to eat our family right now. So it's like everything's super easy. And you know what? Maybe if we were a little bit more mindful, like we were talking about, maybe we took a little bit more personal responsibility and we took things in moderation and we made the effort to manage and optimize certain areas of our life, then when we add that thing back in, it just tastes so much sweeter.
Yeah, you mentioned potentially stopping drinking or cutting back on drinking, and I want people to understand, like, this is not like a hidden sobriety program or anything like that. But a lot of people, let's be real, they do have a mountain to climb to get to a healthy level, and that's fine. I get it. Like, a lot of people wake up.
I did too.
Yeah, they wake up one day. And they're like, shit, I'm how old? I'm 30, I'm 35, I'm 40, whatever. And they're like, man, I have not been living in a healthy way for who knows how long. It might be decades. So there might be some upfront work to do. And there usually is, especially if that's the case where you wake up one day, you're like, oh shit. But here's the thing that I love when people get to this point where they're able to have the results that they want. Let's just talk body for a minute and their confidence. Imagine you have the body you want and the confidence that comes with that body. Where if you were to go take your shirt off at the pool and you don't even have an ounce of like, man, I'm not not ready for this. I need a drink or two before I'm confident and don't care. Like, imagine if you're just like, yep, my shirt's off. I'm freaking happy. And you don't have to rush to go grab a drink. When you can get to that level, it's so much easier to maintain. Mm-hmm. But when people don't get there and they're still trying to slam this all the time and still trying to eat a little healthier, go to the gym sometimes, they don't have the consistency. They don't really know how to fit a drink in or many drinks into their program. It is a harder mountain to climb. Yep. So when someone comes into an Earn Your Boost program, we're like, all right, cool. Let's look at all the basic stuff like height, weight, age, your goals, like any injuries, any limitations, all that kind of stuff. We look at all that, but we also like to look at, well, how much are you drinking? What is your quote unquote party lifestyle like? Are you having a drink every single night, or is it very sporadic? We take all that into account. Because, again, the goal here is to get you to where you want to be and to show you how to keep it. This is not just a sober challenge. Like October is coming up, and a lot of people do Sober October. You said this the other day, and I think you described it perfectly. In my opinion, in your opinion, Sober October is for people that have been overindulging throughout the year, and October gets here and they go, man, I need to give my liver a break. I need to give my stomach a break. I need a break because I've been going too hard on the bottle. Dude, that should be a wake-up sign that that's not a sustainable way of living.
Same thing with dry January.
A much more sustainable way of living is, who gives a shit if it's dry January or sober October? It shouldn't matter what month it is. You should be working on your health, your family, your business, all those things, and enjoying this kind of whenever you want without needing a month off to detox and try to reset your health. Because a month off during Sober October is not doing anything for you. It's literally not. Most people suffer through it. Here's what happens. Most people that do Sober October because they've been drinking too much the other months of the year, they go sober, they post about it all the time, they hate it, and then as soon as it's over, they freaking down and they're back on it way too hard. What is the point of that? It doesn't make any sense, and that's when your body has a hard time deciding what to do with the alcohol and the toxins that come with it. But if you were like, no, I know how to eat, I know how to exercise, I know how to sleep, I'm getting all these things in that we teach with the Elite Earner program, it's easy. Your body is just like, oh, cool. Every once in a while, my body, this guy or this girl feeds me sushi. Every once in a while, I have a freaking hot dog. Every once in a while, I have some tequila or a couple of beers. And it's just like it just goes on. But when it's like heavy drinking, and then a month of sobriety, the body's like, okay. But then you just freaking pound it and go back to drinking too much. How about we get healthy, get the results we want, and stay healthy, keep those results, and still have whatever favorite bourbon or beer or tequila or wine that you want, because you can absolutely earn and enjoy it.
Yeah, I really like something you said there about, like, this isn't a secret sobriety program, right? And for me personally, and I want to give people a clear view of what this could look like. Because for me, it looked like 2 years. It took me 2 years of putting that away to get to the point where I could healthfully introduce it back into my life. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but now that I've made all the little mistakes and I had to do that, that's why I'm so passionate about this. Because I did have a problem. I was at 2 bottles a night, 2 bottles of Maker's Mark, couple beers, shot of fucking whatever, wild turkey, whatever, just so I could go to sleep. Right? I had a problem. So I stopped.
And a lot of people do something like that and they haven't really acknowledged it's a problem yet. Yeah. But let's be real, it is. I came from a heavy drinking background, You came from a heavy drinking background. Man, like sobriety, I know a lot of people make fun of it, especially if you're one of those guys. I get it. But dude, we got to be real. Like, this is not something that's going to extend our life. We have to figure out how to get healthy and stay healthy and still incorporate that. Absolutely. But you probably do need to cut back a bit.
Yep. Yeah, so for me, like I said, it looked like 2 years of personal development, of developing my mindset the right way, of fixing my gut health, because it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like, my gut was destroyed because of what I was doing to it. And I was not having the highest quality libations. I was not, doing all the, the mindful, things. I would drink fucking tap water. I didn't care. Right. So it took that long for me to get to that point. But now that I've gone through that process, I've taken many multitudes of people through that process. And when you get them, it doesn't always take 2 years. It took me 2 years. But when you get them to that point and they look back and they're like, oh wow, like I actually want, like if and when you do want to drink again and you look at it and you go, I kind of want the best. I want the best stuff now. Like I'm not going to down 30 Coors Lights with my buddies or whatever. I'm going to have a nice bottle of tequila or some mezcal or a bourbon or, when you start looking at it like that as like, oh man, like this is an experience, right? And then you start appreciating it more. And then you start going down, our buddy Jeff Bradford, he makes this stuff. He goes to the down to fucking Tequila, Mexico, and like he goes and watches the agave get pulled and like does through the whole process. Like you appreciate these things so much more because it's like art,
Yeah, I mean, as we get older too, we naturally want just better things, like hopefully we're making more money and the family's growing, so we want a nicer house. We care more about safer cars instead of just cooler cars. And, like our friend Nick, the Tequila Wanderer, he's a golfer and he isn't going to just go out and swing some shitty clubs. He's been golfing a long time. He wants the best stuff. And he has some really cool branded stuff, for golf with his tequila type stuff. But when it comes to drinking, I'm the same way. I used to have an apartment when I was in the Navy that all the wallpaper and in the ceiling was all Bud Light boxes that we had flattened out and stapled to it because we just drank crap all the time, But now it's like, I would never do that now because one, like my gut, like you do feel it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there just drinking like crappy beer all the time, you can't tell me that it has no effect on your body. It absolutely does. All alcohol does. But what you drink does matter, which is why, like you said, I only drink the high quality stuff now. And if someone's like, oh, I can't afford it. It was like, well, dude, why not? Why can't I get an $80 bottle of spirit? Because it's going to last me a while. Like you have no problem spending $80 on a couple 30 racks of Coors Light and
then Uber Eats you buy
and
after
Jim
that.
Beam. That adds up too. But I would rather have the best in life, and that applies to alcohol, that applies to like a safe car for my family, that applies to the clothes I wear because I want to feel and fit good and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a natural progression as I think everyone probably goes through this. As we go through life, we go from, okay, I used to do beer bongs and have wallpaper that was Bud Light boxes on my wall. And every single weekend there was an excuse to party or drink. And now it's like, well, no, I'm working on myself, my business, my family. And I can still have some great drinks and the silliness and the fun that comes with that. And it's not ruining my health. It's not consuming my wallpaper. It's not getting out of control. But I still get to have this stuff. Sometimes people are like, really, you drink? Because like people sometimes say I have some abs, and I got some pretty decent abs. But it's like, they're like, really? You really? Yeah. I still eat pizza. Yesterday was my daughter's 6-year-old birthday. Pizza and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not going to be that guy that's like, you have the pizza, you have the ice cream, daughter. Daddy's going to go home and have chicken and rice. Like, no, I had freaking pizza with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still out here enjoying the things that I like in life because I have gotten to the level of like my body results that I know how to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
And having some drinks on the weekend or eating some pizza and birthday cake with my 6-year-old is going to do literally nothing to throw me off track.
Yeah, when you step back and are just even a little bit mindful about what you're doing, you can't, and I don't want to, cut out all the guys that like Natty Light. Like, listen, I'll have Coors Light.
We had some a couple months ago when we were
it was
rucking.
Awesome. Yeah.
We did a big ruck in the desert with Tyler.
Yeah, it was awesome. We didn't have 30 of them though. We had one
a couple
or two
tall
or
cans,
whatever. Yeah, we had a couple tall cans. So the whole point is just being a little bit more mindful about what's going on with your body, what you're putting in your body, how you're preparing for something, right? Like everybody will prepare for, some sort of a fitness thing, right? But they're not preparing for different ways that they eat. And I think that's wrong. If you know that you're going to go out and have pizza and wings with your buddies, like, well, that week you should do things a little bit differently leading up to that. Same thing if you're like, all right, I know I have this wedding I'm going to. I know it's an open bar. I know I'm going to get fucked up because let's be honest, we're going to get fucked up at the open bar wedding for your brother or whatever, right? It's going to happen. So if you're a little bit mindful about what you're doing, you take a week or maybe 2 weeks to prepare your body for it with proper supplementation. You're front loading your sleep. You're doing, you're taking strategic, like the way that you're eating your meals is strategic. you're hydrating the right way. Then when you get to that thing, the next day you're, one, not fucking hungover as much as you would be, or at all, which is a great thing. And you go right back into training and right back into doing your thing.
And you still had a blast.
And you still had a blast.
Yeah.
And you still had, shots, and you still had the what do you call the brown paper bag beer or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. The whole point is to take a step back and be just a tiny bit more mindful about your environment and what's actually going on with this meat vehicle that we only get one chance around fucking this thing with, right? And it's like, okay, if my body is prepared for this stuff, if I'm, doing 80, 90% of the time what I should be doing, eating what I should be eating, my body is prepared for the 80% of the time, but it's also prepared for the 20% of the time. I think that's super important.
Yeah, knowing how to drink without it throwing off your progress, without being hungover, is a superpower. And this is one of the things that we teach and we talk about. Like, we have guides, literally, what to eat and how to eat when you go out, knowing when you're going to have some drinks. How to prepare for that big country music festival or that wedding with an open bar. When you know how to do those things, and it's easy, it takes a little bit of preparation, but like everything does, everything good takes some preparation and some planning. Yep. When you know how to drink and not have it ruin the next day or ruin your body or ruin your life, that's a superpower. And that's one of the things that we mean when we say earn your booze. Earn it and enjoy it. It's not just earn, and never have fun. It's earn and enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. This information's been out there for probably as long as there's been alcohol. It's like, hey, drink a glass of water between drinks. Everybody knows it, everybody says it, but nobody fucking does it. 0 people actually do that. But if you did, even just doing that would stave off most of the negative effects that you'd have that night for various reasons, right? And then if you take it a step further, you add a little bit of salt in a couple of those. Put some electrolytes in the first one. Maybe you have a little bit of activated charcoal in between your second and third drink. Maybe you take a little bit of dihydromycin when you get home. Maybe, and we go up the ladder of this stuff, and it's like, well, how far do you want to take it, right? And me personally, I haven't been hungover in years now because I know exactly what to do. And if we're going to go, if we're going to go to Mexico and fucking go party for a weekend, I know exactly what I'm going to do for the entire month leading up to that.
Yeah.
And we're going to wake up at 5, 6, 7 a.m. We're going to go work out on the beach. Like, we've actually done this before. We're going to go work out on the beach. Then we're going to go have some more drinks.
Yep.
And it's like, we're still going to do everything that we said we were going to do. We're still on our, workout program. We're still hydrating. We're still getting our mindfulness stuff in. We're still reading. We're still doing all these things. It's just a lot more fun.
Let me tell you about my anniversary weekend that I had, I think it was 2 weekends ago. Mm-hmm. My wife and I went out, and I had an old-fashioned, a couple special drinks that they had, and an espresso martini with this Wild Comet tequila in it at the first place. We had a charcuterie board with meats and cheeses and fruits and bread and spreads, had a ribeye with mashed potatoes that we split and all that stuff. And I did drink a water in between each drink. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this because I hadn't had a handful of drinks in a long time. And I knew I was going to have a lot that night. So that was the first place. Then we went to another place, had 2 drinks. Then we went to another place, and I think we had 4. And I kept the water thing going. So overall, I think I probably had close to a dozen drinks in a night. And some people are like, oh, that's a lot. Some people are like, that's nothing. But regardless,
it was good shit, though.
it was a good amount for me because I hadn't had that many in a long time. But I did the water in between. I ate whatever the hell I wanted to eat. I was up late. And the next day, no hangover. Mm-hmm. No hangover whatsoever. I remembered everything.
I think we talked at like great. 6 or 7 in the morning.
I was up. I could tell that I had some alcohol, but I did not have the pounding headache in the back of your head, or if you get it behind your eyes. I wasn't, dry heaving. Like, nowhere near. I was like, cool, let's go have breakfast, and had a coffee, and like everything was good. And I just went about my day, went home, played with the kids, and did the thing. Mm-hmm. It actually works when you know what to do. So this is why, like, so many people, like you said, I love how you said there's a ladder to it. Mm-hmm. If somebody wants to go crazy and have all the supplements and all the procedures and protocols leading up to how to get through country thunder without a hangover, you can do that. Yep. Most people should, in my opinion, just start at step 1 and just learn how to get your body to a point where it can process good stuff easily and quickly, properly hydrate, and just take a step one into it. Because once you see, you're like, oh, I used to be hungover every single time, or I used to overindulge and I just hated myself the next day. Once you get a little tiny win of like, oh man, I think I actually can do this, then you can start to crank it up a little bit if you want, or just find your sweet spot where you're like, cool, now when I know I'm going out to drink, I know what to do, and everything's good.
Yeah, I mean, generally, just like with anything else, don't try to throw the whole kitchen sink at it at once, right? Just start with, and you've heard it so many times. I'm going to speak directly to the people right now. You've heard it so many times. Drink some water in between every drink. How many of you fucking actually do it? Zero people actually do that. Go out to a bar and watch, like, everybody. Right?
Be the weirdo.
Be the weirdo that orders water. Like, water with a little bit of lemon. Boom. In between your drink. Cool. And it's like, oh, just doing that, just that little tiny thing right there will probably keep you from having a hangover. It's probably going to make your liver a lot more happy because it's like, okay, it's going to make your gut a lot more healthy because now we can start to, push things through. Like, and then you're probably going to make better decisions later on in the night too. You're not going to order $60 worth of Mexican food from Uber Eats. Like, a lot of the times it's the ancillary shit. It's not the actual alcohol that's the problem. It's the decisions that you're making beforehand. It's the decisions that you're making afterwards. And that's a you problem. That's not an alcohol problem.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to this short episode. Go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the Earn It All podcast. And we would love it if you left us a comment because we'd love to hear what you guys think.
Even if it's bad.
Especially if it's bad. No, for real. Like in business, we always want to hear bad, quote unquote, bad feedback so we have the opportunity to get better. So if you could, please share this video with someone that you actually give a shit about, someone that you know that needs to hear that there is a way to earn and enjoy booze and all the cool things in life. And we will see you guys next week.